All right. Hello. 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 Hope everyone is doing well today. I decided to do a little bit of an unplanned stream. I know that my usual stream schedule is pretty much at like a different time of day. This is like 8:40 in the morning or like 8:30 in the morning for me, and my usual streams are like 8:30 in the evening. But I woke up a bit early and I wanted to give it a little bit of a change. So, the game that we're going to be playing today, if my OBS will actually pick it up. Come on, OBS, you can do it. I believe in you. I believe in you, maybe. Okay, there we go. The game that we'll be playing today is called The Life and Suffering of Sir Brante, or Brante? I don't know. I don't know the pronunciation. But it's a text-based RPG that works out like a choose-your-own-adventure novel. So I'm hoping that, we can have a little bit of fun with this game. Just because I do enjoy games like this, like the sort of indie games, sort of RPGs with a lot of text. I do enjoy that sort of stuff. So hopefully we can play this and, let's just get right into it. Oh, okay. Okay, so Sir Brante is like the last name. So I'm Sir Tooru. Sir Tooru. Just so that we know, you will address me as Sir. Okay, let's get right into it. You hold the fate of a single man in your hands. You will follow his life from birth to death. Your choices shall define who Sir Brante will grow up to be. You will decide his personality, his social status, and what mark he'll leave on history. With every step at your behest, Sir Brante's character will change and evolve. Your decisions will close some doors for him, but open many others. The world... Oh, I didn't mean to double click. Even every victory will be a struggle, a path paved with bitter losses and gut-wrenching failures. Accept the tragedy. This is how you will create a gripping and unique tale for your hero. What will become of your Sir Brante, his loved ones, and his world? It all depends on you. Interesting.
The story of my life remains written on these pages.
He's but a wee lad.
Has always been my own. Every deed, every choice, every person I met made me what I am.
It's kind of a cool concept, though.
Could I have taken a different path? Could I have found a different calling? Altered the very course of history?
Oh, wow, look at
And what price would I have to pay?
He's become a big boy. It's a pretty interesting concept. Like the kind of like text adventure RPGs are not that common to begin with. And then a lot of the ones that do sort of like try and take you through a big story, whereas this one is just like focused and localized on one person. It kind of reminds me of there's been a few games like this. There was one that I played a long time ago. It was like a zombie-based one, but the structure was pretty similar. It was like RPG, well, you had like a group of characters, right? And then you determine how things went with them. I can't remember the exact name, but it was like a zombie game. And then it was like a text-based RPG like this one. Your fingers are strained with ink. Your breathing grows ragged, your hands are shaking, yet the words begin appearing on the page before you one by one, clinging together to form a chronicle of your own life. Who are you, and how did you reach this end? You were born, raised, and lived your entire life in the blessed Archnean Empire. In this land, a man's destiny is predetermined at the moment of his birth, whether human or Archnean, nobleman, priest, or low-born commoner, all bend to the divine will of the twin gods, and each life is naught but a single cog in the universe's immeasurable machine. The memories come flooding back. They engulf you as a merciless wave, binding together days that are thrice dead and gone. The dreams of your childhood, your adolescence, your youth spent in the capital, years of peace, teeming with life, and a war drenched in blood. high ranks and lowly deeds, opulent palaces, secretive city-back streets, fields of battle, and faces, so many faces of the people you held dear, the people who walked this road by your side. Such was your life, all now exposed by ink erupting onto the page. With your every step, you sought to change the world as you saw fit. The choices of your upbringing, the path you carved in your youth, the fruits of your struggle, the consequences of your sacrifice, all of it led you here to the end of your time. Every choice had a price. Now, years and years later, the crossroads of your life echo in your memory, the pain and joy inextricably intermingled. Could you have taken a different path, chosen a different calling, found a different place in the world? You had the power to alter the very course of history. And now, on the verge of death, you struggle with doubt, seeking answers to the last and most crucial question of all, your life. Of all the paths in life, why did you walk this one? Did you choose your own fate? Or was your life shaped by forces beyond your control? What determines a man's destiny? Okay, so what do we pick here? The man himself. Your life has always been yours to live. You made your own destiny. Your path was charted for you by the people, the age, and society in which you lived. Your destiny was forged by a power greater than your own will. And destiny does not exist. Human life is an exercise in chance. It is not governed by any laws. Well, you know what? Tooru is a self-made man. And there is no one that will get in between him and his goals. So I want to say the man himself, because we determine our own destiny, guys. We determine our own destiny. You hear death's footsteps drawing near. You square your shoulders and take a deep, full breath. You have found your final answer. What is destiny other than a long chain of your actions and decisions? No matter what happened in your life, you always had a choice. Yes, you lived the life you deserved. Only you can answer it. Yes, we get what we deserve. But are you right about this? Is it all true? To learn the truth, you will have to return to the very beginning, remembering each step you took along the way. On these pages, the story of a man named Tooru Brante will live once more. Good evening, JP. Good evening. Alright, so we'll start from our childhood. Here we go. Okay. Yeah, there we go. So it's just like a little thing there. Childhood, where life begins. First words. First unsteady steps. You're but a small child learning about the world in which you were born. To you, everything is so new, so baffling, and so unforgiving. You know, I find it... I don't know, like... I'm just thinking, like... Because essentially the game is Tooru Brante sort of like reminiscing about his entire life. But I don't know about you guys. Like, do you guys keep a lot of memories from your childhood? Like, after a certain age, I think it is easier to keep certain memories. But, like, for me personally, I don't have a lot of memories from, like, before I was 5 years old or whatever. And I remember, like, I don't know. I guess it's because my brain hasn't been fully formed or whatever, but I felt like I was in autopilot mode and that I didn't have great self-control and consciousness over my actions until I reached a certain age. Child protagonist? No, not necessarily, JP. So what happens, the premise of this game is that you're playing as Sir Brante, and then you are chronicling your entire life, which starts at childhood, right? So we start at childhood, and then we grow into an adult, and all of that sort of thing. But yeah, like, it just makes, like, I just thought of it because, you know, you're at the end of your life. So let's say we're like 80 years old, 90 years old, 70 years old, I don't know how old. right? But then, you know, you have memories from early childhood, and I'm just thinking, like, I don't remember that much from my childhood. Like, after a certain age, like once I got to like 6 or 7, then I started to remember more. But before then, I didn't really remember all that much. And I really felt like, I don't know if this is how everybody feels, or if this is just me, but I feel like I sort of lived an autopilot where, like, I would just react and talk like based on instinct. Even I didn't have the capacity to sit down and like think things through until I was like 6 or something like that. So I don't know if that's the case for everybody, but I feel like that's the case for oh my god, I feel like that's the case of me. A long trying life stretches before you, so many feats and faults, so many fateful choices to come, yet you are already sowing the seeds of your future self. You are learning to live and survive in this world, looking for a place within it to call your own, choosing your future destiny. Who will you grow up to be? In the chapters Childhood, Adolescence, and Youth, you will live through your hero's coming of age. You will shape your personality, qualities, and relationships. By the end of the prologue, you will determine the estate and future occupation of the hero. Only in adulthood will he start to influence the world around him and even the ultimate fate of the Empire. Who will Tooru Brante grow up to be? It's your call. Okay, here we go. Events in the personal life of the hero that can happen in this chapter. Okay, so these are like the 4 main events you can happen. So, okay, so this is very much a sort of like choose your own adventure kind of text-based RPG. And then what happens is like you have certain like flashpoints, and then these flashpoints are highlighted here. And then once like you navigate through that, through like your stats and skills and decisions, then it will lead to like a different outcome. So if you guys ever read the Goosebumps novels from what's the author? I don't remember. It's like R.L. Stein or something like that, or R.J. Stein. I don't remember specifically, but if you guys are familiar with the Goosebumps novels, it's a bit like that. How, you know, you have a set story, and then if you make a decision, you go to like a different page, you know, and then the story sort of warps depending on your choices. It would be like that. It'd be like that. My earliest memories are from 3-4, but they only remain because I'm constantly reminisced about them. By now, I don't remember the memory itself, but me remembering it? That might sound weird. No, that doesn't sound weird at all, JP. So, fun fact about you humans. No, fun fact is that a lot of memories, like the way that the brain stores memories, is that after a certain amount of time, it actually gets rid of the original memory, and then what you remember is you remembering about it. And so what it sort of like pieces together the memory based on your memories of you accessing it. And so that's just a way for the brain to like, you know, condense information and, you know, not dedicate too much brain space to it. But then what happens is that, you know, over time, memories of certain events start to deteriorate, because what you're remembering when you try to remember it is not the actual memory itself, it's of you thinking about it. So I definitely like, so what you're describing there is definitely true and definitely accurate. Your personal qualities at this age, they determine what choices you make. Oh no, why am I so weak? I'm spineless and inattentive. Well, I mean, I do get sidetracked a bit. I do get sidetracked a bit, so maybe my perception is kind of low. Your inner strength and the number of lesser deaths you have experienced. These qualities will stay with you in your entire life. Willpower. I'm ready for action. Deaths untouched by death. These sections open up in this chapter. Okay, interesting. So, this is Destiny, Personality, House of Brante, and Family. Okay, cool. Begin chapter. Let's do it. Alright, GOGs. Hopping off. With an achievement. I don't even remember that. At first, there was nothing. No time, no sensation. Nothing but darkness and the void. But then, A will breathed life into nothingness. Matter and spirit were set into motion. History began its march. I kind of like how they imply that Bran's parents, like, you know, like, they're not even there. Like, you were just willed into existence by a greater power. Oh. Tooru, baby. Your first memory, you're lying on your back, blinded by a bright white light. You're not alone. Above you tower the colossal figures of those who created you. You're part of them, and they are part of you. Between you and them is an inexplicable connection, a strong, unbreakable link. They will always watch over you, guard you, and protect you. That's nice. But it hurts to breathe. You let out the pain in the form of a desperate scream. This guy has like memories of his actual birth. Oh, right, we'll go back. He has memories of his actual birth. That's insane. That's insane to me. That's insane to me. Your creators extend their hands towards you. Yeah, you let out the pain of the form of a desperate scream. Ree! There are two of them. The ones who made your form and from their own selves and brought you into this world. They are united, yet as they lean closer, you begin to see how different they are. You can already feel their differences within you, struggling against each other. The first figure is soft and emphatic, wise and merciful. The love that emanates from it wraps you head to toe like in an invisible blanket. The warmth from it is never ending. And the second figure is strong and powerful, commanding and noble. It is harsh but fair, a beacon of guidance, a force of protection and merciless punishment for every misdeed. Yet, there is also a third figure. It is like a shadow, barely seen behind them, yet already pulsing with an unbreakable will to live. It is the very will to live that is now growing ever stronger inside you. A soft palm, a closed fist, a lingering, distant shadow. You struggle to loosen the swaddling clothes wrapped around you and extend a tiny hand into the world. Okay, so... okay. Interesting. So, the game, based on the choices, will help allocate your stats. And I guess that's what's going to be happening a lot in the prologue, right? So we can reach out to the palm, we can reach out to the fist, and we can smile at the shadow. Oh my goodness. I kind of want to go with smile at the shadow just because of like the willpower bonus, but I don't even know if that's that useful, you know? So if you take a look at personality. Yeah. I kind of want to go with willpower. And the reason is because they say you spend willpower on difficult choices. So willpower is more like a resource than a stat. So these are stats, and then this is a resource. I don't know though. Maybe I'll reach out to like the palm or the fist. I think I'll reach out to the palm. To the palm. Having a higher perception might be good. It's definitely, perception is definitely something I need to improve on, but I can't help it though, right? I can't help it because like I'm trapped inside my, well, I don't want to say I'm trapped, but like I'm inside my shell a lot of the time, so I don't really get the opportunity to, you know, perceive much of the world around me, you know, and it's only when I go out of my shell that I can actually see exactly what's going on. But since that doesn't happen too often, I enjoy the comfort of my home. Since that doesn't happen too often, then, you know, it's not a very used skill at all. So let's try it. Let's try it. Reach out to the palm. Your little palm awkwardly clasps the soft finger. You explore your mother's hands. Yeah, that makes sense. The palm is the mother, the fist is the father, and the shadow is like looming death, I guess. You explore your mother's hands by touch. She smiles gently as her arms wrap around you and lift you up. She smells of home, that indescribable smell, that feeling of safety that is second to none. Ooh. Her embrace is the warmest place in the world, a place you want to stay for all eternity. Your life in this world begins. How will you live it? Okay, so we are now... Well, we're no longer 0 years old. We are no longer a 0-year-old baby. We are now a 1-year-old. As the days go by, you learn to tell your parents apart. You recognize father by his heavy breath and strong, cold hands. He visits you rarely. Oh, jeez. Robert Brante. Hello there, little Tooru Brante. Mother's tender voice, however, follows you day and night. Lydia Brante. Ma, you're growing so quickly, my child. There are 2 more children in the family. Stefan and Gloria. Ah, okay, so they're your older siblings. Gloria sings songs to you. She often dresses you in tight clothing and gently holds your hands as you learn to take your first steps. Stefan likes to sweep you up and pinch you and toss you into the air. Isn't it? Yeah, isn't that a bit dangerous? I mean, I get it, they're kids. They're kids and they're playing with you, but like, isn't that a bit dangerous to like just chuck him up into the air? Like, how old is Stefan? If this kid's only like 5 years old himself, then him chucking you into the air is pretty dangerous, right? Oh look, this is your brother and sister. Yeah, you're my little brother. We're gonna play together. Whoa, dude. But I'll always be in charge because you were born a commoner. Wait, what? How does that make sense? Be quiet, you. He doesn't understand yet. Come, baby Tooru, let's play in the yard. So, different parents? Wait. This is your brother and sister. So, my mother, Lydia. Yeah, okay. Interesting. So, she is a commoner. Right, so their parents are different to mine. From his first marriage and a noble by birth. Interesting. So, he's one of those. He's one of those nobles. I've read a lot about his personality in various manga. Gloria. Okay, not bad. Okay, it's hot outside. You grip your brother's hand with one hand and your sister's with the others. They help you walk down the giant stone stairs. Then you sit on the ground and start exploring the sparse blades of grass with your fingers, and it tickles. In the sky above, far away from you, is a gigantic pillar. Perfectly straight stick made of light. It is so bright, it hurts to look at it. Why are you staring at the shining pillar? It's not going anywhere, you know. Hey, I want to playing hide and seek with a 1-year-old? Like, I can barely crawl. Damn, father is soon? Maybe, but he could also just be busy, JP. You know, the life of a noble is not as idle as one may think. He's just a little baby. How is he gonna play? Exactly. Thank you, Gloria, looking out for me. Then you hide him and I'll try to find both of you. Okay, that's okay. You have no idea what they're talking about, but you support them with happy cooing. This is strange, but so exciting. Stefan and Gloria glance at each other. Then your brother walks to a big tree, closes his eyes and starts shouting something. Gloria takes your hand and walks you through the yard. Your sister takes you behind some thick bushes behind a tall wall. The light from that light stick on the horizon barely reaches here. You can't see home from this place. The ground is crawling with tiny black bugs. Gloria sits you down on the ground and puts a finger to her mouth for some reason, and then she's gone. Oh, wow. Okay. You can no longer hear Stefan's voice. Gloria is nowhere to be seen. You feel colder. The bugs are no fun to play with. You've been sitting here for a long time, completely alone. Nobody checks on you. Did they forget about you? Did they abandon you? Well, I don't think they would have intentionally just abandoned you, because like the father's gonna beat the shit out of those kids if you go missing. But I think I don't want to sit and wait. I think you would actually try and find our way home. And the reason we try and find our way home is because, like, we're a baby, right? Like, okay, we don't necessarily have the wherewithal to consciously find our way home, but like, you know, we lose focus. Like, we can't focus on the bugs. We'd get cranky and then we'd just crawl away, right? So I would try and find my way home. You get up off the ground and start crawling through the bushes to find your way back home. And I know that this may lead to a bad outcome because the kids might come looking for you later and then they lose you, right? But but this is what I'd do. This is what a Tooru baby would do. You get up on your feet, swaying a little bit. Carefully, you take a first step, then lose your balance and plop down on the ground again. But you are determined. You are motivated. You get up again and keep walking in the direction Gloria went. You walk out of the bushes and further toward the wall of the house, and then the most tender and gentle of hands in the whole world embrace you and pick you up. Mother has found you. There you are. You lean on Mother's chest and hold on to her with your arms. You want her to know that you came here all by yourself without any help. She pats you on the head. Your brother and sister stand behind her, clearly feeling guilty. Gloria is in tears. Stefan is starting at his feet. So I think they just forgot about you or they lost you. And then they're like, oh shit, where's our baby brother? You hug your mother tightly. She is here now. I'm still spineless though. I mean, come on, like that's pretty brave of a baby to do. Alright, next year we are now 2 years old. Another memory. You are still a little child, but you can already talk and run around on your own. Today is out of the ordinary. Father is busy around the house giving orders to the servants. Throughout the day, the kitchen has been abuzz with work and there are solemn, gloomy preparations and candles being lit. Even your older brother Stefan is quiet today. Mother takes your hand and brings you to your sister Gloria. My son, today is the great descent. We honor the day when the twin gods descended to us. You must spend this day in reverence to the gods. You're too young to understand, so just do everything your sister says for now. Gloria takes you to the playroom. There are no toys, no chairs. Even the carpet has been taken away. There is nothing but a bare wooden floor. Oh my goodness. Look at the darkness. Like, yeah, it's the shadow because they've only got the candle. But she looks like she's about to... she looks like she's about to choke poor Tooru. Today, we're not allowed to go to any other rooms. And we'll be eating nothing but gruel and stale bread on the day of the great descent. Everyone must be where they belong. Ah, okay. Jeez, poor girl. So, Stefan is the legitimate firstborn child from my father's first marriage. Gloria is a child, the illegitimate daughter from my mother, well, we don't know who her father is. And Tooru is the youngest child who is the child of, you know, like your father and mother. So Gloria actually has the lowest spot in the family, not even Tooru. Because like I was thinking because Lydia is, you know, a commoner, so Tooru would have the lowest ranking in the family, like the hierarchy in terms of nobility or whatever. But no, it's actually Gloria because we don't even know who her father is. Interesting. Oh jeez, I feel sorry for her. It is quiet. Well, I mean, like, Stefan is a bit of a dick, but he seems to care about, you know, his family. He doesn't seem to hate, you know, us, so that's okay. It is quiet, unusually so. Muffled voices from beyond the door are all you can hear. You are sitting on the cold floor, confused with no idea what to do. Then you hear your sister's voice. A lonely sound in the empty room. It is a little song you taught her. You hold your breath as you listen to it. When the twins came down from earth, they brought lots for every birth. Let us count them. 1, 2, 3. The twins made them for you and me. Oh damn, what kind of family is this, mate? Maybe I've been reading too many manga. Like, I've been on a little bit of a binge recently where I'm reading a lot of manga where it deals with nobility and like fantasy worlds and all of that. And then so like people are born into these families and it's like a complex relationship between the siblings and the parents and all of that sort of thing. So yeah, this kind of families are very mixed, you know. You have... Okay, so you have the marriage between Lydia and Robert, and those are the parents. But then you have Stefan, who is Robert's son from his first marriage. I don't know what happened to his first wife, right? Maybe they divorced, maybe she died. And then you have Lydia, and then Gloria is her daughter from we don't know where. And then Tooru is the child between Lydia and Robert. Let's continue the song. Nobles rule and bravely fight. They protect us with their might. Priests work hard to understand, guide us by the twins' commands. Common people work and toil, always patient, never spoiled. Live your lot where you were born, to the day when you pass on. Know your lot and know the prayer. For the twins, see everywhere. Know your role. Basically, the religion of this universe just hammers down the idea of knowing your place in the world and never stepping above it. You're transfixed by the tune. Gloria notices your gaze and a smile creeps upon her face. You like that rhyme, don't you, Tooru? Do you know what it's all about? Look, there are 3 lots. They were brought to us by the twins when they descended to us from the shining pillar. Remember that pillar of light on the horizon? That's it. You can see the shining pillar any time from anywhere in the world. If you follow your lot as you live, you'll reach the peak of the pillar, and if you don't, you'll get eternal torment at the foot. You'll get eternal torment at the foot. Though, knowing people these days, I'm sure some people would prefer eternal torment at the foot. I'm sure some people would definitely prefer that. You and I are lowborn. Mom is a commoner too. So the lot for you and me... Oh my god. So the lot for you and me is to suffer. Why are we still here? Just to suffer? I think the answer is yes. And be patient and work hard. You understand? The priests and nobles have other lots. The nobles fight and rule over everybody. The priests, well, I'm not really sure what they do, but I guess they talk to the twins and then teach everybody. Gloria stares at you intently. Did you get it, silly? Then she shakes her head, singing the song over and over again. Oh, poor girl. Poor girl. You know, it's unfortunate that we live in a society. Her voice transfixes you, drawing you in. The room starts to glow like the sky. From this light emerges 2 figures you have known since from the moment of your birth. One of them embraces your sister's shoulder, the other stands guard behind her back. You watch this happening before your very eyes, unable to turn away. Okay. Other stars. So it's your parents, obviously. Gloria is swaying to the song, unaware of what is happening. She sings the final verses one more. Know your lot and know the prayer. You feel compelled by this divine sight to express yourself somehow. You feel the words condensing within you from the light. But what will these words be? Do we finish the song properly, or do we sing the last line wrong? You join your sister and finish the song the same way you heard it. You shout the words of your own instead of the last line of the song. Ooh, feet is what some people would say. Yikes. Yes, some people would say that. I think we want to finish the song properly. We're still like 2 years old, right? But then singing the last line wrong is more of what a 2-year-old would do. But I don't want to get the shit beaten out of me. So we'll finish the song properly. And we need to work on my perception, because my perception is still horrible. Know your lot and know the prayer. For the twins see... God, isn't that ominous? For the twins see everywhere. They can see everything. You sing the last song. You sing the last line together with Gloria. Your sister looks up at you in surprise and gives you a nod. The shining pair standing behind her back turn to look at you. You can feel their gaze piercing you from top to bottom. When the moment passes, they melt into the dim light coming from the window. Gloria turns her head to where you are staring. Did you... Whoa. Wait. I thought this was like the silhouette of our parents or something. Did you see something, Tooru? You shake your head. Not anymore. Wait. Wait, I thought that would be our parents. That's not? So, like, is that the twins themselves? So the gods actually... Oh my god. That's a bit... Yabbe. Okay, we are now 3 years old. We're now 3 years old. You're starting to understand more and more of what the adults say. Your family is an unusual one. Your father is a nobleman. Oh, but not by birth. Oh, his is a title earned through great service, but your mother is a low-born woman, a commoner. Because of this, you were born a commoner. But father says you may yet come onto nobility. So I guess because my father is a nobleman, then like maybe the threshold of which this, you know, that I can become a noble through great acts is lessened, you know? You learn to read at an early age. Together with mother, you read and learn by heart the many poems about the divine twins, the twin gods, who reside upon the shining pillar. Mother calls these poems prayers. Again and again you try and discern the shapes of the gods in the strip of the holy light that shines in the sky all day and night, but the light is too blinding to gaze upon. Future is so bright, you need sunglasses. Oh, you need shades, I think is the quote. The greatest joy of all is when the stairs are no longer an insurmountable obstacle. Now you can... Yes, I'm motivated. I'm going to climb these stairs and there's nothing anybody can do to stop me. Now you can climb and even jump from step to step. Father urges you to be careful and avoid climbing too high. That, you know, that's kind of clever, right? Because this is like, this works on 2 levels. This is not just about, you know, Tooru being able to physically climb stairs, but when father urges you to be more careful and avoid climbing too high, that just reinforces the whole the whole tone of this world, which is very based on predeterminist ideas where everything is determined from birth. You have your fate, you have your lot, and you should stick to it. So even though father is just talking about, you know, the stairs and jumping from step to step, this reinforces the narrative tone that the game wishes to convey about the world. And that's cool. I like that. And then here is also like a sort of a response to that, you know. But even though you keep falling, you never stop being curious about the world around you. So that is like a response to that, saying even though the universe, the kingdom is like this, that's not necessarily going to stop you from, you know, fulfilling your curiosity and striving for more. So that's cool, because this is just a small, you know, paragraph about you growing up, but it also reinforces the narrative tone of this universe. Good stuff. I like it. Your older brother Stefan now spends less time playing with Gloria, and you playing with commoners is beneath a nobleman to be, he says. Oh, he's becoming... We're losing him. Gloria calls him names, and Stefan pulls her pigtails. Oh no, I don't like where that's going. One fine evening, father gathers you all in the sitting room with an announcement. You will have another little brother or sister soon. Gloria asks him to bring home a little sister. Another brother would be too much. Stefan gets frustrated. There are too many little siblings getting in his way as it is. Soon you'll be an older brother, and it doesn't really matter who the youngest will be, a boy or a girl. You will love them the most. When father comes back from his trips, he reads his adult books aloud for you. You find these stories of wars, generals, and rebellions quite enchanting, and father approves of your fascination. Nice. So it seems like Stefan is, I don't know, he probably has like an insecurity about, you know, being the only like noble born in the family, and so he's just become a massive dick. And I feel really sorry for Gloria, because she's not Robert Brante's daughter, so she's sort of like a hanger-on. I feel really bad for her. Tooru is pretty secure. Like, Like, Robert's like, okay, I'm gonna raise Stefan to be the heir of the family, but then I'm also going to put a lot of time and attention into Tooru, so Tooru actually gets things pretty okay. Stefan just needs to cool his jets though. Study hard and maybe one day you'll become a noble of the mantle and earn your sword, but first you need to grow up. Growing up, the concept is as terrifying as it is alluring. I don't know. I don't know. I've been grown up for a while. I don't feel too different. You just grow old. You don't grow up, you know? There's no such thing as growing up. You just grow old. I think personally after you reach a certain age, like there's no real I don't know. I guess everybody's experiences is different, right? So I guess I shouldn't say this in such authoritative terms, but for me personally, and you know, let me know if your experience is similar. Like I never really, there was no like sort of big flashpoint moment where bam, you know, like I'm an adult now. It's just like slow increments and changes to my behavior until I reach a certain point. And then after I reached a certain point, it's just like, you know, like mentally, I feel more or less the same as I did like when I was an adolescent and all of that. And so like you don't really grow up, you just grow old. That's how I feel about it. But I don't know how everybody else feels about it. Very concise. Yes, very concise. All right, here we go. The lot of suffering. Oh no. You keep staring at the carpet under your feet. You're ashamed and proud, and it feels odd. A scratch on your hand stings a little. Stephen is standing next to you, sniveling from pain. Your brother was training in the yard with a wooden sword. You wanted to play with him, but he ended up getting angry and throwing the sword at you. The stick hit you in the shoulder. You picked him up and hit him with it. You see your mother's shoes are walking to and fro the carpet. You do not want to look it up. You would rather not see her angry. She's not as gentle to you these days. Why did you hurt Stefan, Tooru? You stammer out an explanation. He hit you first, you just hit him back. How dare he pester me like that? When I grow up, I'm gonna hit you with a real sword. Oh my goodness. Mother shushes you both and speaks to you again. Her voice is stern, yet you can feel her concern for you. Even if Stefan hits you, you cannot hit him back. You are my son and I was born a commoner. Our lot is to suffer, but your brother is born for a noble father and a noble mother. His sacrament is coming soon and then he'll rule over the likes of us. Suffering. If you hurt a noble, you must be punished. That is your lot. And the sooner you learn it, the better off our entire family will be. Now, Stefan looks at you in triumph. You look up at Mother in fear, not sure what to do now. Oh my goodness. Accept your punishment? I'm not gonna accept my punishment. I'm not gonna accept the punishment. Because it's like you lose willpower? Oh, like, okay, so they're grateful, but I'm a child. I don't get this yet. I demand an explanation. Why? Why would I be punished? Why are things like... Mother, why are you like this? You start asking questions. Why were you born a commoner if your father is a noble? If you have your father's name, why can't you have his lot? And why can't you choose a lot for yourself if you don't like the one you have? Mother is stunned by all the questions you're peppering her with. I feel sorry for my mother too, because it's not like it's her fault. You know? It's just society. Don't you dare ask me about that, Tooru. I'll violate my lot if I start explaining it to you. I'm a commoner, not a priest. Oh my god. You're flogged in front of your entire family. The pain burns on your skin again and again. Tears keep rolling down your cheeks. It feels like the punishment will never end. It hurts to walk when you're finally let go. You slowly climb up the stairs and walk to your room. You see a book on your bed, The Teachings of Isachius, Volume 2. Oh my goodness. Your tears have dried now. You begin to read, slowly making your way through the difficult words. Every death of the body bringeth the soul closer to the twins' judgment. When the body dieth a true death, and the soul soareth to the shining pillar. The twin gods do judge every soul, and their judgment is stern and unforgiving. He who followeth his lot in life from birth shall be met with bliss atop the peak of the shining pillar. These words confuse and elude you, instilling fear and awe. You will read this mysterious book again as you grow up. I don't mind getting higher perception. That's fine. That's kinda grim. Yes. Yes, yeah, it's very grim. Mother mostly stays in her chambers now. With each passing day she grows heavier. Oh, and her features get rounder. It gets difficult for her to walk. Oh, but she still smiles all the time. One day she takes your hands and puts them on her big belly, and you feel a movement deep inside her. You will have another brother or sister soon. Gloria takes you on walks to the yard now. You explore the yard together, and in the evening light of the pillar, and she sings you songs and tells you amazing stories. Hey Tooru, do you want to hear a rhyme? I wrote it myself. There's even a bit about you, but don't tell anyone, okay? Oh, man, Gloria is such a tragic figure in this game. Writing poems and songs is only for nobles. If mommy hears about it, I'll get flogged. You remember how you got flogged for hitting Stefan? Our judge is my second father. In the past, I had another. Mother says the twins are great. Says we should not fight our fate. Brother loves to jump around. Please don't fall on the ground. See, I wrote a little rhyme. Please don't tell them. It is mine. Oh my god. Why is this world so cruel? Oh, okay, but today your sister is nowhere to be seen. She promised to take you to the old pond and show you the red frogs that live there, but then she vanished. The servants join you in your search. Even Mother leaves her chambers when she hears the commotion. Finally, you find Gloria in the far corner of the garden. She's holding a quill and sheets of paper covered in poetry. Mother becomes angry. Oh. Man. This world is depressing. This world is very depressing. Mother becomes angry the moment she sees it. She looks through the poetry and her face grows dark with rage. Gloria is standing before her, wringing her hands and looking up for an opportunity to run, but there seems to be no escape. What is this nonsense, Gloria? We talked about this. You were told to take care of your little brother. You are absolutely not allowed to entertain yourself with this writing. I can decide that for myself. No, you cannot. It has been decided by the gods. And he's not my little brother, and he's not a little brother anymore. He doesn't need a nanny, and I need some time alone to think for myself. I'm not hurting anyone. You are a commoner and a future wife. It's time you learned. Bruh, she's like 8 years old. It's time you learn how to properly care for children. Had your disgraceful former father kept me in his house, you could have been born a noble, but that is not our fate, and you are absolutely forbidden from ever spoiling paper and wasting ink again. Oh my god. Oh, so not having willpower now is kind of bad. Mother grabs Gloria firmly by the hand and takes you both into the house. The scribbled sheets fly into the fireplace. Gloria sobs violently. You are a bystander to this scene, unsure of how to act. Oh man. I want to comfort. Like I don't necessarily want to write rhymes with her. I just want to comfort Gloria. But then the problem is that I have like 0 willpower. I wonder... Well, okay, hold on. Let me get rid of that. Will this get me in trouble if I comfort my sister and I have negative willpower? I want to try it. We'll see what happens. Because, like, my sister's always been good to me. Mother leaves the last of your sister's poetry, burns away in the fireplace. You walk up to your crying sister and take her hand. None of this is her fault, you say. What Mother did is wrong and far too harsh. Gloria sniffles before speaking. But I did leave you all alone. You're not mad at me, really? Well, okay, so there's 2 things here, right? If she had come and picked me up like she promised, none of this would have happened, right? But then on the other hand, the consequences were far too harsh, right? Like getting smacked and then Her poetry burning up like that, that ain't right. But we live in a society, unfortunately, and we're just children. You nod in reassurance. Gloria embraces you. Tooru, you're the best little brother in the whole world. Two of you make a little deal. She promises to tell you when she wants to be alone, and you promise to protect her and her secrets. Always. Wait. When the game says always, I'm suspicious of that. Because that could get me into a lot of trouble later on. Gloria seems like a bit of a troublemaker. But she will remember this. Exhausted, yes. Okay. So, I think going forward, I'm going to try and use I'm going to try and accumulate willpower. Because I don't want to have 0 willpower, you know. Here we go. Now, we are now 4 years old. Mother is in her armchair, knitting woolen jackets, pants, and socks for the little one. The baby will need to be kept warm, she says. Father spends less time at home now. Mother says he's very busy with his important job. He's a judge, after all. One day you decide to ask Mother about Stefan and Gloria. How come they're brother and sister to you, but not siblings to each other? Well, my dear, I didn't give birth to Stefan, you see. He's the son of another mother. He's my brother from another mother. And Gloria is the daughter of another father. Come now, don't knit your brow like that. You'll understand when you're older. How is that even possible? You're all family, are you not? Several days later, Mom calls Stefan and Gloria into the sitting room. You sneak in after them. At first, Mother gets angry and asks you to leave, but then she relents. You're told to sit still, be quiet, and remember every word you hear. When you enter the temple, bow to the twins. First to the elder on the right, then to the younger on the left. Stefan, you're a nobleman to be, so walk along the side paved with marble where the benches are. Gloria, you walk along the sharp side. When you're there, you must get down on your knees, each on your own side. Stefan, kiss the sword. Gloria, my daughter. Gloria, my daughter, they will strike you with the lash. Don't be afraid to it. Don't be afraid of it. Resign yourself to the suffering it brings. It is the blessing of your lot. Man, this world is fucked. This world is fucked in the head. Gloria doesn't like the idea of the lash. There's a tense feeling in your chest as well. You were told to remember this. Will the lash strike you too one day? The answer is yes. On the next day, they take your brother and sister to the temple. You run towards them when they finally come back. The back of Gloria's dress is soaked with blood. She's hunched a bit, sobbing quietly. Stefan is putting on airs, acting prouder than ever. Nothing else looks different about them. It's like all is the same, and yet everything has changed. That's fucked up. That's honestly messed up. But I mean, that's why the game is called The Life and Suffering of Sir Brante, right? Like, this game is about suffering and accepting your lot. Each of them has accepted their lot. There you go. Relations, -1. Indifference. That's fine. I don't really care about him either. Just leave me alone and I don't really care about you. Wait, what? What happened with Unity? How close and trusting your family is. It affects the fate of your family members. No! No, we're straying away from Unity. Okay, your siblings took their first sacrament at the temple. Eye the little bundle in your father's arms with curiosity. Ah, it's a newborn baby. Nice. Stefan and Gloria also here, all excited. Nice. You promise yourself that you're going to be the best big brother in the whole world. You never hit him. Oh no, the two of you will play together and tease Stefan together and help Mother together and go on so many adventures together. It feels strange to be an older brother. Just the other day, you were the youngest in the family, but everything is different now. Your parents name your little brother Nathan, and Mother spends day and night by his side, and Nathan cries all the time, day and night. Mother barely gets any sleep. She's so worn out, she starts forgetting things. Like today, for instance, she forgot her knitting in the armchair in the sitting room. You'd better bring it back to her as soon as possible. You run to your mother's bedroom. You miss her smile so much, you walk in without saying hello and give her the knitting. But instead of gratitude, you get an ice-cold, exhausted stare. Nathan is also there, screaming all the time. Oh, don't be too harsh on your mother, Tooru. She's had a rough life. Go away, Tooru. You're bothering me. She spits these words out through her teeth. You look at the bawling newborn. She can't even get a minute of respite. Enough already. When are you going to stop? I just want some peace and quiet. Oh my god. Mother leaps across the room and starts shaking Nathan with malice in her eyes. Oh my god, she looks so tired from his never-ending screams. She seems to be within an inch of smashing him against the wall. Someone has to do something. You're scared for your mother right now, but you fear for Nathan's life so much more. But how come I can't do that? Oh, conditions not met. Oh, shit. Oh my god. So because I used my willpower to comfort Gloria earlier, I can't do these ones. Like this. Oh my god, that's really bad. That's so unfortunate. All right, redirect her anger. Like, if I call father, he's gonna beat the shit out of her, and she's just gonna die, and we're gonna be dead too. So I'm gonna redirect her anger to yourself because that's the only thing you can do in this situation. Oh my god. That's horrible. Man, this game gets really dark. Mother keeps shaking Nathan violently and you cannot stay away any longer. He's no longer bawling, he is shrieking. Just leave me alone. But then comes out your voice, so loud that it drowns out their cries. No, it's not Nathan's fault, Mother. You're just tired. Please don't do anything to my little brother. If you have to punish somebody, punish me instead. He's too young. He won't understand. Oh my god. This is so heartbreaking. Oh my god. Your mother freezes and looks at you. Her eyes, two narrow slits. Her stare is cold and pure and full of pure wrath. So pure that you can't help but recoil in fear. Are you trying to teach me how to take care of a child? Are you giving me lessons on calming a newborn baby? You're insolent, insipid, nagging know-it-all. It's time you learned your place. Oh my god. Oh, okay. She puts Nathan on the bed sheets, then moves towards you. You step back, but the closed door blocks your way. She slaps you across the face. Your ears ring from the heavy blow, and your cheek burn from her wrath. You wince and close your eyes, expecting a second slap. But nothing comes, and mother's heavy breath and shrill cries. Then there is a knock at the door. You step aside. Father walks in. He looks at you, clutching a reddened cheek. At the bawling baby and at her mother, her eyes red with rage and tears. Her breath heavy and ragged. Go to your room, son. I'll join you soon. You do as you're told. Back in your room, you press your aching cheek against the cold window, hurt and dazed by what just happened. Soon enough, Nathan stops crying. You hear father's heavy footsteps in the hallway. He comes into your room and sits on the bed next to you. Son, please do not be angry with your mother. The twins know she wishes nobody any harm. This is a difficult time for her, but we will make it through as a family. You stepped up to protect your brother today. You acted like a little nobleman today. I'm proud of you. Your mother and Nathan are resting now. How bad does it hurt? Oh my god. You shake your head. Not bad, but your hand still aches to clutch the cheek. Father embraces you with a sorrowful smile and gingerly pats you on the head as you press your forehead into his house coat. Things grow calm now. The trouble has passed, and you are quietly happy. You're determined now. Oh my goodness. Wow. This game is brutal. No mercy. We are now 5 years old. We're now 5 years old. Okay, you wake up to father's touch on your shoulder. He's finally back home after a long trip. Tooru, today is your special day, the day where you begin your studies. Now teachers will be coming to our home to teach you, and you must do everything they say. Be diligent. in your studies and you will grow closer to the nobleman's lot. So at least the father wants you to, like, you know, become a noble as well. And since you must remember this day, a present is in order. Lydia, get our little schoolboy dressed. I'm taking him to the market district. Stefan wants to come with you too, but father shushes him sternly. This is your day. Your brother is hurt to hear this, but stays quiet. Get stuffed, Stefan. An open carriage takes you through the dusty and noisy city streets, a pleasant wind tussling your hair. Your city is called Anizot, that you already know is one of the largest cities in the entire empire. There is a big shadow on the street. It comes from the white foliage of an enormous tree that spreads its branches all above the city. My son, did you know that the silver tree grew from the blood of our God's own disciples? It's been growing here for hundreds of years, right in our city. It cannot be damaged or burned. Not even the clergy know why. The carriage comes to a halt by a small shop next to a city square. You run there and freeze by the stalls. In excitement, the shop is packed with dolls and figurines and toys. You've never seen so many at once before. Well, now that I think about it, like, I guess in this world, because, like, I found it kind of odd that in this world, if you're, like, born into a commoner's lot, you still get educated. Maybe that's just because, like, your father's a nobleman and all of that. But yeah, like, one of the big issues, right? One of the big issues of, like, more primitive settings, I guess, was the unevenness of education. So if you were a commoner, if you were a peasant, like, the kind of there was no like formalized education systems like we do have now, like in the modern day. So I mean, like, there was systems of education, but it wasn't at a point where everybody could afford to do it. So you'd have nobles that have educations, that have tutors and all of that, and then, you know, for like peasants and commoners and all of that, like, there would be some sort of basic education systems, but for the most part, the children would grow up helping the parents, you know, like on the farm and that sort of thing, and then taking over from their job when their parents could no longer do it, you know? So yeah, it's just like on-the-job education at, like, the tender age of 7 or whatever. So yeah, that's not great. Like, we definitely do have things pretty nice now in comparison. Have you chosen your present yet? Father asked. You have. You want the Holy Order set, which includes the several figurines of the Empire's greatest warriors of all time. You rattle off everything you know about the Holy Order. They were the ones who aided the Emperor's own forces in seizing the province of Magra and storming our city. That's how we joined the Empire. Father nods in approval. Very well. War isn't your lot for now, but maybe these toy soldiers will teach you to think like a general. We will lead them into battle and study military strategy. Go ahead, take your present. Having said this, Father turns away to examine the books. You run to the box of toy soldiers, delirious with excitement. But there is a fancy-dressed boy in your way. He is about to take your warriors for himself. He elbows you and reaches for the box. Anger overcomes you, and you push him from behind. Your opponent falls to the floor. The rich boy screams so loudly, everybody in the shop hears it. He hit me, he hit me. A tall tower of a man looms over you. This is the boy's father, but then you feel your own father's hands on your shoulders. What happened? You press against father, your mind more at ease now. No! Your father is not going to help you. This is a fucked up world. He will protect you. Yes, you shoved the boy to the floor in front of everyone, but he tried to take your present for himself. Father turns you around to face him when he hears these words. Is this true, Tooru? Did you strike the truth of a nobleman? I want to, like, admit guilt. Oh god, having no willpower sucks here. It's like, if we deny the guilt... Okay, well, we'll deny our guilt. We need the willpower. You quietly say that it was an accident. There we go. I'm not going to tell the truth. Like, I need willpower for these events. So, it was an accident. I didn't mean it. You hide behind father and deny all wrongdoing. The boy was too clumsy, and now the two fathers come face to face. Your father is calm, while the enraged nobleman pelts him with insults and reaches for his sword again and again. The insults... Oh god, Dad's gonna hate me. In the end, the nobleman challenges father to a duel. There is only one way to protect the family honor. Father grudgingly accepts the challenge. They bring him home much later. With a fresh wound in his side and another in his shoulder. You spend the entire day by his bedside doing whatever he says, overcome with a mixture of shame, guilt, and gratitude. Even though father rarely shows it, he would readily risk everything for his family. Oh my god, he's not a bad guy. It's just the world that we live in. When father's wound heals, he brings you the belated present, a little box full of soldiers, the holy order made of tin. You line up the warriors in battle formation. Only one thought on your mind, your family is always by your side. Damn, that's... Oh man. Robert Brante is a... I don't know. It's like, he's a well-meaning father, he's a good man. It's just that the society that we live in is such warped value systems that he can be a bit harsh, you know. Today, father ordered the dinner table to be brought out into the yard. For the first time in months, he's home outside of the confines of his always locked study. He spent the entire day playing with Nathan and you, discussing various matters with Stefan, now an adolescent, and walking in the garden. And now dinner under the open sky. Your entire family gathers together with father at the head of the table smiling. He asks each of you about your studies. Nathan climbs up on his knee and recites a counting rhyme in a funny sing-song voice. Stefan mentions that his fencing teachers praised his accomplishments. He rises from the table together with father to show his skill in a practice duel. Next comes Gloria's turn. She stands on her chair and recites a lengthy prayer by heart. Mother showers your sister with praise. Father chuckles quietly, hiding a smile in his moustache. When your turn comes, you recite all the ranks from the Legion, from common soldier to high commander. Stefan listens to you with a skeptical look on his face. Night slowly falls, but the servants ensure that the yard is well illuminated. You don't feel cold in the dusk tonight. It feels good, yet so important. All of you are finally together, sitting at the same table. No fighting, just smiles. No arguing, just pleasant small talk. See, isn't that nice? If only these days could last forever. Then a servant approaches father with a letter in his hand. He reads it in the dim light, and each line gradually washes the smile off his face. Washes the smile off his face until only a stone-cold mask remains. Mother looks at father with an unspoken question in her eyes. Gregor Brante is coming back to Anizot. He is the head of our family. My father. Wow. Okay. But wait. Wasn't Robert a commoner? And then he became a nobleman through great service? Your grandfather, Gregor Brante, returned to the family home from the capital. Ever since the news of grandfather's impending arrival, there has not been a single day when the house has not been cleaned or decorated. Your parents anxiously make sure everything is in order. They tell you to wash your face and hands after work and scold you for leaving books on the floor. They tell Gloria she'll be flogged if she is ever seen hiding in the attic. They make Stefan stay in his room. Even baby Nathan gets in trouble. Everyone is on edge. Then one day, grandfather arrives. It is a grim day, so hot your neck is sticky with sweat. Father, mother, Stefan, Gloria, yourself, and Nathan, the entire Brante family stands on the porch in front of the house. The house servants are lined up behind you. The carriage arrives and out steps a gaunt old man with a heavy walking stick and a heavier gaze. You cringe instinctively. Good health to you, father. Children, greet your father as you have been taught. Still trying to look like a real nobleman, are you? You can't fool me, Robert. I was the first of the Brante family to be ennobled by the mantle, and I am the only one who remembers how to bear this burden properly. I live honorably by my lot. Oh my god. Your marriage to that lowborn wench cut us off from ever becoming nobles of the sword. My progeny could have been born bearing noble blood. Father, I beg you, this is not the place. Father eyes him with scorn and walks into the house, the entire family following close behind him. This guy, he tries to disrupt our unity. I've been away for... Oh, hold on, let's take a look at this. Here, let's see, look at this. The head of the Brante family and a nobleman. A senior judge at the Anzot prefecture. He was the first person in the family to get an education and achieve a noble title. His dream is to see his family ennobled by the sword. A cruel and fierce defender of the ancient order, he is constantly preoccupied with arranging the future of his family line. I've been away far too long. This entire house is a mess. This is an insult. How can you live in such a pigsty, Robert? The servants have grown far too lazy, all thanks to that commoner wife. I warned you, did I not? And yet you did as you saw fit. And the children, what do they know of tradition or honor? They are being raised in a virtuous family, Father. And now you're speaking like a lowborn who's content to live in humility. Twins willing, now that I'm here, this will not happen again. I'm taking your eldest son to the capital. I see you cannot provide Stefan with a proper education, so I will correct your mistake. Oh my god, your brother's fate has been decided, just like that. Father does not object. He orders the servants to prepare Stefan for the journey. Stefan freezes in place, glancing at grandfather and father again. The latter puts a hand on his shoulder reassuringly. Grandfather's lips are a tight line, white with contempt. Wow! The house is examined, room after room. Everything grandfather sees is showered by scorn. He scoffs at a crease on a blanket in Nathan's crib in mother's bedroom. He mocks Gloria's knitting in her room. The door to your room is next. What is this, Robert? Tin soldiers in your younger son's room? He was born a commoner. I won't have him daydreaming of battle. Oh my god. Holy shit. Yeah, you would just... Yeah, you would die. Grandfather seizes the box. Oh, I don't have enough perception. Jeez. I'm so close. I really wish I could do that one. Grandfather seizes the box containing the tin warriors of the Holy Order. Your father stays silent. Anger and fear boil within you. This is your big present from the first day of your studies. It means so much to you. But what if he's right? But what if you need to prove your right to command the toy soldiers first? Grandfather shakes his head in disapproval and shoves the toy box into the roaring fireplace. If you wait too long, they will all melt into flames. I want to kick this old man in the leg, because like I don't want to expend my willpower into crying, because he's just gonna, like, you don't get anything out of it. You know what, friends, you are, what are we? We're like a 5-year-old child. Our tin warriors, this is the hill that I'm going to die on, right? This is the hill I'm going to die on, because these soldiers are more than just toys, right? They're present from the first day of our studies. It's an acknowledgement. It's an acknowledgement from my father that I am right to have aspirations, you know, right to have aspirations of battle, of war, of being a soldier, right? And my grandfather comes in, we don't even know the guy, and then he shoves it into the fire. Like, it's like you're dying already, because he's basically saying that your hopes and dreams are worthless and are pointless, and they're never gonna happen. They're never gonna come true. So what's a 5-year-old to do? Chuck a temper tantrum, start screaming, and just like get mad, you know? Because Tooru already has form of being an impetulant little shit, you know? You shove over the nobleman's son or whatever, you know, Tooru, and like you hit Stefan. Like, Tooru is not, you know, Tooru can be a violent child. And sometimes when stuff like this happens, when your grandfather, you know, he chucks your toy soldiers into the fire, he gets what he fucking deserves. So we're gonna kick him in the leg. And we're gonna die. Overwhelmed by helpless rage, you run to grandfather and kick him in the leg with all the strength you can muster. Yet he is immovable. The next thing you see him is leaning, towering over you menacingly, his heavy walking stick in hand. Low-born scum, how dare you raise a hand to me? Oh! Wow, the blow hits home. The handle of the walking stick is as heavy as a rock. You are dazed, robbed of both hearing and sight. Down comes another blow. A sharp pain splits your head, then darkness. Your hand twitches against your will, then again and again, like it is trying to catch a butterfly. And then you fall into the primordial void. The void takes away a part of you, one of the lives you were given to live. It will never return. There is pain and desperation and a sense of loss. Nothing can be done now. Game over. First death. You fall into a pain that embraces you like a soft feather bed. You feel light, free. There are no restraints, just a warm glow that envelops you in its secure embrace. The waves carry you. Their touch is soft. They delicately enshroud what was once your body. It is a feeling unlike anything you have ever experienced before. Something absolute and complete. You touch something greater, the reason behind everything. The reason for your very existence. You were sculpted from this light. It is the first thing you have ever felt. A boundless and sincere unity of the diverse. Your beginning was a spark that cast this light in all directions, and now you're here again. One with the beginning of everything. The light gleaming from you resembles the light of the shining pillar. You still see it in the north, as always. The waves of light carry you to two figures. The elder is nearest. He is ready to accept you. He is quiet, wise, kind, and pure. The younger waits further back. You do not know what he is yet. The waves pause at the elder's feet. He leans over you and plants a feather-light kiss on your forehead. The kiss spreads all over you. You're filled with unparalleled delight and bliss. You exist. You are unique. There is no one else like you. They know this, and they love you. You will never be alone. You are a part of them, a part of your family, a part of this universe. The twin gods will never leave you. They watch over you constantly. The elder softly touches you as you lie spread out amongst the waves, sending you further down the torrent of light. You float to the top of the silver tree's spreading crown. The closer you get to the silver tree, the heavier you become. The waves draw you down along its trunk, but you do not wish to part with the warmth and the softness, with the love. You turn around. The elder is still watching you. He nods. All is as it should be. Go. Your time has not yet come. You must return to the world now. As you tumble down towards your body, you comprehend the true meaning of your lesser death and the divine love that has been revealed to you. Love exists not only in the hereafter, it is present in the entire design of the twins that is the origin of all life in this world. What is the manifestation of this love in your mortal life? Okay, so we get a choice here. So, okay, after suffering the first death, right? After suffering the first death, what lesson did we learn? I think cause, right? Cause is the meaning I choose to glean, right? Because, like, if they were unhappy with me kicking my grandfather, then they wouldn't have loved me, you know? So we'll go with cause. Oh, yourself is also pretty big, but I think cause. Sudden comprehension of the love with which the entire world is imbued illuminates your mind, but then it fades away and vanishes. You regain the sensation of your flesh. It is heavy and unwieldy. It lacks the light. It lacks that lightness, that light. It is a burden. It is smothering you. You gasp for air. Your chest expands painfully. You feel as though your lungs are about to burst. The stagnant odor of the crypt fills them, revolting, but so real. You're back. Oh my god. Oh my god, you're a zombie now! Holy cow, you're undead! So like, when the game is talking about
like first death and all of that, I thought that they were talking in metaphorical terms, you know, like, oh, you got knocked out, you know, and then you come back and then you can continue the story. But no, you're actually dead. And then you come back to life. Wow. And you smell a sickly, moist smell. You feel a dampness all around you. You come back to your senses. The gloom of the family crypt, lying flat on a stone slab. Your parents are on the way to the crypt right now. You will hear their muffled voices. They're arguing, and against all rules, Mother will not agree with Father. Why would Sir Gregor do this? He just took one of our child's lives. Lydia, my father is our family head, and the boy raised a hand to him. There was nothing we could do, and Father did admit he was too hard on him. Please do not anger Sir Gregor. You need to accept this. It will never happen to any of our children ever again. Their voices grow quiet as they lean over you. You lean on your elbows to try and get up from the stone. Mother gingerly wraps her cloak around your naked body as you shiver from the cold. My son, your first death came far too soon. I know it may be difficult to realize what happened, but know this. The twin gods are ever merciful. You are our child, and your time to live for the hereafter has not yet come. You'll be returned here by the gods twice more, but do not tempt fate again, and never ever defy those who can easily take your life. Interesting. So, in this world, everybody actually lives 3 lives. Tooru, you have angered grandfather greatly. Do not stand in Sir Gregor's way ever again, and he will never hurt you again. For now, just stay away from him. Father stays a step away from you, not saying a word. When Mother finishes you, he picks you up and carries you outside. Together, your parents take you from the family crypt. On your way out from the crypt, you take a moment to touch your head. It is perfectly fine. There is no sign of the blow. Back home, grandfather is still walking through the house, examining the rooms. You can see that Stefan and Gloria are disturbed by what just happened. Nathan starts crying when he sees you. The playroom still reeks of burnt paint. Yeah, he hates me. There is something new about you now, a pitch black stripe on your left arm. It looks like a strange bit of dirt at first, but it will not wash off. It will be like that forever, Mother explains. That's all she says of it. Died once. True death, hey? Okay, that's crazy. Event has happened. Suffer your first death. Man. Honestly, like, is that like they say, the game keeps saying, or like the game is trying to say that, oh, you know, the gods love you, so you can come back to life. But I don't know, like personally, it's like, is that a blessing or a curse, right? Because they're like, I guess it depends. Like, if you think about it in this kind of universe, you know, where you like your lot is predetermined, where, you know, cruelties and barbarism can be excused based on, you know, your lot. Would you really want to live 3 times? You know, like if everybody just died the true death the first time, maybe people would, you know, maybe people in this universe would learn to appreciate the value of life more, and maybe, you know, the idea of treating each other better, but you know, would be more prevalent. Because like I mean, I get it, like the world is cruel, and historically, you know, a lot of societies have been very cruel, and some still are very cruel today, right? So I get that not having multiple lives, like having multiple lives doesn't really change that. But it just makes me wonder, you know? It just makes me wonder whether having 3 lives, the way that this world does, like, wouldn't that just prolong the suffering, you know? I don't know. Personally, I feel like it might actually be, like, less of a mercy, you know? Less of a mercy to have 3 lives than to have 1. But, thankfully, we're able to level up some stats as a result. Your younger brother Nathan is growing. Mother spends more time with the rest of the family now. You help her and play with your brother and take care of him when she asks. You often go to your mother's room to sit at the foot of her bed after Nathan falls asleep. She reads you the sacred books and asks you about the things you learn every day. During these moments, you see the world through her eyes as well. One day the door opens and she brings a large box covered with a piece of cloth. It is rare for you to see her so overjoyed. She sets the box on the floor and removes the cloth. The cloth The box under the cloth is made of glass and has a wooden base. Inside, you see a layer of earth shaped into carefully crafted passages, and these passages are full of hard-working ants. Oh, okay, so we got an ant farm. Tooru, this is my gift to you, an ant farm. It is a little world in a small box. You know what? That's actually kind of amazing too, right? They get you an ant farm, and what we know about like insects and specifically like ants and bees is that they have a very strict hierarchical system by which they function. Like you have like the queen ant, and then you have like all the worker ants, and then you have like the warrior ants and that sort of thing. So it's like another way of hammering down the kind of society that we're living in, right? And then she's going to explain that, look, this is the queen ant. She is the reason all these little ants were born. You sit by the box together, you hold your breath as you watch the ant colony work. There turns out to be a method to the ants' chaotic movements. Every single one of them has a task to perform. Yes. Some of them have larger mandibles. They are the protectors of the colony. They can draw blood from your finger. Others work around the colony, repairing the walls and clearing any debris from the passages. There are also workers who collect food you put in a special tray, leaves, bits of meat, maggots, and bring it to the rest of the colony. See, the ants have their lot, and that's what you are, Tooru. You are an ant. That's unfortunate, man. I wish my mother had gotten a turtle colony. That would have been nice to see, you know? Now you take a worker ant and put it right next to the food. However, the insect has no interest in it. It starts circling around the tray aimlessly. Mother takes the stray ant and puts it where it belongs. Why did you do that, my son? The ants cannot do what they weren't born to do. Each of them was born for their own job. You shake your head slowly. If only the ants could do whatever you wanted. If only you could be the master of the universe. This is your gift now, so they belong to you. Or maybe his mother's presence is the reason they won't obey you. Oh man, if you play by yourself, then you get an insight, which is pretty cool. But then we mess around with the unity, right? And I personally, I'm a fan of like having a harmonious family, like a unity family, except for the grandfather. He can go get fucked. So we'll keep playing with mother, and it's also good to build up willpower in case we might need it for later, and we get good relations too. Mother's look is full of warmth and love. Nathan, Gloria, and father are away right now. For the first time in a long while, it is just the two of you, and mother takes great joy in watching over the ant farm. She shares her knowledge of the world with you. The things she tells you are true. You move closer to her and suggest going outside and finding some bugs for the ants. She agrees happily and holds out your hand as you leave the house. Soon you are catching bugs and sharing your thoughts on how the ants will feed the colony with them. From time to time, you laugh together, making up stories about errant flies and caterpillars overthrowing the ant kingdom. Your mother holds your hands as you return. She can't help but smile. It is a faint smile, a child's smile, a smile full of sunlight. Aw, you're so happy to have seen the world through her eyes today. That's nice. Make your mum happy, you know? And that goes for you too, chat. That goes for you too, chat. You know, make your mom happy. Like, if she's been a good mother to you, then make her happy. You know, the small gestures. It doesn't have to be like a grand gesture. You don't need to, you know, move heaven and earth to make your family happy. But small gestures from time to time, they do mean a lot. You know, just the fact that you're considerate, you know, people appreciate that. So, yeah, make your mom happy. Let's continue. Full of power. Now this is power. All right. Soon your grandfather leaves. Your elder brother Stefan goes with him. From that day onward, father's hired teachers tend to you alone. They bore you with monotonous lectures on writing, counting, and the way of life in the blessed Archnean Empire. You often distract yourself from their instruction by playing with your younger brother Nathan. Your home goes quiet without your elder brother, too quiet. Weeks later, your family receives a letter from Stefan. Your grandfather has sent him to a boarding school for nobles, and he is now studying hard in preparation for his services as a nobleman. The rules here are way too strict. You can't even sneeze without the teacher's permission. But I've been studying with my peers. We're learning how to live as nobles in a noble society. We're also learning about the art of swordplay. That's my favorite part. With Stefan now at the boarding school, grandfather arrives once more. This time to live in your home. The only good thing is that he often has urgent business in Eterna, the capital of the empire, and he has to travel there. One day you ask your mother where he lived before. In Eterna, she says, but now his place is here. Each time grandfather returns, he gives the servants new orders. Your home is now always busy with repairs. The servants are redecorating grandfather's chambers, including his library and sitting room. Sometimes father tries to gently talk him out of this. Why subject the house to constant reconstruction? Grandfather's answer is always the same. This home is mine and I will live here as befits a man of the nobility. Oh, rip Robert. Some days grandfather stays home, and on those days you try your best to stay out of his sight. But there is no way you can avoid family breakfast. The food is there, but you cannot bring yourself to eat it. Mother's eyes are red and swollen. She has been crying all night again. Grandfather sits at the head of the table where nobody used to sit before. Robert, it is high time your younger sons underwent their sacraments. Sir Brant, please, let them free live of their lot for a while longer. They are but— Shut your mouth, woman! Robert, that wife of yours is impertinent enough to interrupt me. If this happens again, she'll be eating her gruel with the servants in the kitchen where she belongs. It is time you considered a real marriage, Robert. One to a woman of a proper station. Gloria drops her fork. Grandfather shoots her a scathing look. A tear rolls down Mother's cheek. Father does not look away from his plate. His hands clenched into fists. Oh, God. I feel sorry for fucking everybody. Baroness El Lodar is one such woman. She is a comely widow and a fine match. She is suing for her inheritance right now and could use a proper support and a husband. You can keep your lowborn Lydia around if you like. Servant, mistress, I don't care. I will not do that, father. I am the head of this family, and the family's standing took a severe blow after you married that commoner. It is unthinkable. How could you give up the memory of the beautiful Amalia Elborn for this lowly woman and that bastard child of hers? But now you have a chance to set things right. Do not disappoint me. Father nods curtly, trying not to look in Mother's direction. Oh, Jesus. Father, I wish to see Stefan. If I find you... So that's what he's doing. He's actually holding Stefan hostage. If I find your conduct in the Baroness's presence satisfactory enough, then you may see him. She's coming for a visit tomorrow. Be prepared. So he is holding their son hostage so that he will comply. My God. What an absolute dickhead. Grandfather wipes his mouth with his napkin, throws it onto his plate and leaves. Mother's lips move silently. Nobody says a word. Then father stands up and orders you and the children back to your rooms. He needs to speak to mother in private. Father comes to your room just before bedtime. He sits on the edge of the bed and adjusts a crease on the woolen blanket. He distanced himself from you after Stefan's departure, so you are not used to such attention from him. In the candlelight, you can see his face in the dark. There is a sour expression on it. My son, Baroness Emma Elodar, will be visiting us tomorrow. Please be polite and treat her with respect. Nathan will do as you do. I want this dinner to be as immaculate as possible. Don't let me down. On the next day, Mother starts dressing you and Nathan for the coming dinner. You can see the red all around her eyes. She's been crying, and for a long time it hurts just to look at her. Nathan starts whining quietly. You and Nathan are dressed in new doublets. Your tousled hair brushed into shape. Gloria is told to stay in her room. Father appears to be wearing his best suit. Mother is in a humble brown dress, looking pale. Grandfather has an uncharacteristically contented look about him. You hear the sounds of wheels and hooves against the cobbles in the yard, and then a pair of dainty heels come up clacking. The antechamber is completely quiet and still, fearing grandfather's observant eye. The door opens. You see your guest, a beautiful dark-haired woman in a dress of deep elegant blue. Father takes the hand of Lady Elodar and kisses it, showering her in compliments. Grandfather's face is beaming in her presence. No one even bothers to introduce Mother. Baroness, allow me to introduce you to Robert's sons, Tooru and Nathan Brante. Frankly, it's his eldest, Stefan, who deserves the most attention, but he's currently studying in Eterna with other young noblemen like himself. It is my hope that his younger sons will also make me proud one day. Grandfather's eyes you with a probing look. How will you act in front of the Baroness? Will you accept her? Will you accept her here next to your mother, your father's rightful wife? Oh my god. Oh, jeez. Oh, that's really rough. That's really rough. I'm just gonna go with maintain my composure. I built up my willpower for moments like this. You greet Lady Eladar with restraint and avoid getting too involved in the event. I think that's okay. Because, like, I don't want to... I don't, like... The main issue with greeting her politely is that even though father and grandfather would be happy and mother wouldn't be happy, like, I don't want to mess with the family unity. Like, that's the main thing for me, right? And I also don't want to mess with, like, a lot of other stuff here. So, like, maintain my composure is the most non-committal thing I can do. And you're just a kid, right? You just want to be over and done with it. So we'll maintain our composure. We'll expend some willpower for this. You mutter a proper greeting to Lady Eladar and bow your head. Out of the corner of your eye, you see Mother walking upstairs to her room. You, on the other hand, follow Father and Grandfather obediently into the sitting room. Grandfather and Baroness Eladar engage in small talk over dinner. They discuss her inheritance litigation, and he advises her like the judge he is. Father is mostly silent, only getting in a word or two. The morning after, Father leaves for Eterna with Grandfather to visit Stefan. He returns from the capital in a quiet rage. You overhear your parents talking. Apparently, Grandfather has already poisoned Stefan's mind against him, and he greeted Father with cold hostility. The name of Baroness Eladar is never mentioned in the house again. Wow. So Stefan is a little shit. That's what we learned. We are now 7 years old. 777. Father now checks on your studies often and nitpicks you for speaking or eating in an incorrect fashion. Once he becomes so annoyed, he says he wishes Stefan had been the one. That's rough. Stefan had been the one to stay home instead of you. You never expected to hear these words from your father, of all people. Grandfather's trip to the capital took longer than expected. It feels lighter around the house without his presence. You allow yourself a little change of scenery. Instead of your room, you now busy yourself with reading and calculations in the sitting room from across the open door to the yard. Gloria has joined you today. She already has helped you progress through several complex passages in the book. Right now, she seems to be preoccupied with a strange tube. Aren't you hurt by the way Grandfather treats you? You ask. Gloria just shrugs. I'm used to it by now, Tooru. Grandfather always says they should get rid of me. Yeah! Oh, poor Gloria. I'm used to it now. He hurts you a lot worse because you're closer to him. I just have to stay out of his way. That's it. She shows you the strange tube she has been holding all day. Look, it's a kaleidoscope. I got it as a gift. Want to see what's inside? Excited by the idea, you close the book and peer into a tiny hole on one end of the tube. You see a multitude of intricate patterns. Each turn of the tube reveals a new web of interwoven colors. They mesmerize you. The kaleidoscopes are pretty cool. I used to have one when I was a kid, actually. When I was but a wee hatchling, I actually had a kaleidoscope on myself. Like they're alright. I mean, it's like, it's a kaleidoscope, but I remember, I remember when I first had a kaleidoscope. Like, okay, so I may be aging myself a little bit, but look, turtles live for a very long time, so this shouldn't be a surprise to anybody that I'm on the older side of the equation. But do you remember, they used to have, it was a toy, right? And then you used to have, flashcards from movies. And then, you would, place it on your eyes, and then, you'd press, a button, or, you press, this lever, and then the flash card would rotate, and then it would show you like a scene from movies. Like I used to have one of those, and it was like of a Disney. Oh, it was like Disney themed. So I remember having one of the Lion King, right? And then like that was my first sort of like toy where you had to like look inside something, like, you know, to see like an image reflected like onto the surface. And then, you know, so like when I got my first kaleidoscope, because I got a kaleidoscope after that, right? I don't remember what they're called, but it's like the things that, like, you know, it's, they're like they look like binoculars or whatever, and then you put like a flash card on the top, and then they have different scenes on the flash card, and then you press like this lever or this switch, and then it switches between all the different scenes. I don't remember what those are called, but that's like one of the first toys that I have where you have to look into like a binocular type structure, and then you can see like, you know, something reflected into the surface. So when I got my kaleidoscope, this is just a dumb young Tooru things, but like when I got a kaleidoscope, right, I looked into it, and then I was thinking like, okay, but then like what's the next image, right? And then so like I was fumbling around, and I was like, oh wait, you know, it's like you can like move it around and stuff, but you know, but yeah, I don't know, like that's like the first thing I think of, you know. It's like with regards to like the kaleidoscope, it's pretty cool, but like I think I was expecting a little more than what's actually like there, simply because like my experience with those kinds of toys and all of that is based on something different. Okay, 2:20 a.m. here. That's really late. Gotta sleep. Good night. This is a grim but interesting game. We'll check VOD. No worries, JP. Thank you for coming. I really appreciate you being here and chatting. I won't be streaming for too much longer. I want to finish off Tooru's childhood, and then once we get into adolescence, I'll probably end there, because that seems like a good stopping point. So yeah, thank you for coming. I appreciate it. I'm not going to be too much longer. We've probably got like 1 or 2 years left, so that should be it. The kaleidoscope turns the fire burning in the fireplace into a cavalry made of flames. You're riding at the front of the fiery horseman, ready to face the enemy. Grandfather's face emerges from the intersecting lines, and you swing the kaleidoscope like a sword, cutting it in half. Now you look at the pale blue sky through the window. The patterns are unending. Oh, jeez. Secretive, calm, and peaceful. The patterns are unending. Secretive, calm, and peaceful, just like father's smile before grandfather's invasion. The deep blue gives way to a scattering of gold and radiating gentle warmth like mother's arms. This fleeting beauty too soon gives way to a new hypnotic pattern. Again and again, you see your family and these interconnecting figures as they come together and break apart. And in the middle of this golden glow, you see Gloria's green eyes gazing at you observantly. Your sister left you long ago. The books are abandoned. Yeah, good night, JP, good night. And time slips away unchecked, but you are still busy peering into the kaleidoscope. Order emerges from the chaos before your eyes, and again, you cannot preserve it no matter how hard you try. You're caught in an inner conflict. There can be so much that can be done with this kaleidoscope should you take it apart, or ask Gloria how it works, or keep enjoying the patterns it shows you. You still have to do your lessons today. Take the kaleidoscope apart. I want to return to studies. The reason I want to return to studies is because grandfather's still in this house, so if you don't study, he's going to beat the shit out of you. And we can get our determination up, which is nice. You put the kaleidoscope away and return to studying the book. There is so much you have to discuss with Gloria, you can't help but wonder, what things did she see there? But first, your lessons. When father walks in, he sees you hard at work over the book. He chuckles in approval, then spots the kaleidoscope on the table next to you. He puts the toy to his eye, then freezes still for a moment. It takes him an effort to put it back down. So he's in the same boat. Then he praises you for being diligent and leaves. When today's section of the book is finished, you take your toy upstairs to the sister's room and tell her what you saw in it. Gloria smiles, knowing what you felt. I once saw a ballroom full of dancers. I watched it for an entire hour. My hands even got sore. You spend a long time with your sister discussing the kaleidoscope figures, and you feel a strong connection to her. The toys brought you closer together, made you interconnected, just like the lines and figures in its colorful eye. Oh, nice. This event is a consequence of your previous actions. Father's sword. When father is not working long hours, you often see him spending long stretches of time in the backyard, practicing his fencing. You're allowed to watch, but that is it. You're forbidden from touching the sword, let alone learning how to actually fight with it. It is a new day today, and father has been busy in his studies since early morning. Mother took Gloria and Nathan to the shops. Your studies are done for today. The house is empty. You spot your father's sword hanging by the yard door. He must have left it there by accident after a training session. You deliberate at first. This kid. Then grab the sword with resolve and run outside. At last, you have a chance to see it up close. It is a small sword used for dueling, heavy and devoid of any ornamentation. You recall that it was made specifically for him. Yes, there are many swords like this, but this one is his. And this difficult is weapon to handle. Its heft makes the palm of your hand shake. As you get used to it, you try your best to imitate father's feints. Your technique leaves much to be desired, but at least it's something. You imagine yourself fighting for the family's honor as the thin blade slices through the air. But you swing... Oh no. Oh no. The blade nicks your shoulder and cuts through your shirt, staining the fabric crimson. The sword falls to the ground with a dull clang. You try to apply pressure to the wound to make it stop bleeding, but all you do is make the blood flow faster. Tooru, what are you doing here? The familiar voice hurts you more than the cut of the sword. Father walks up to you briskly. His rugged arms rip off a length of cloth and bandage your shoulder. He squats by your side and pulls you into an awkward embrace. My son, why did you have to take the sword? You know you're not supposed to hold it. This is no toy. It is a weapon that can take lives. I know how you feel. I used to yearn for my father's dueling sword back when I was a lad. One day you might have a chance to earn the right to carry a weapon, but first you must have patience and study and become a noble. When that day comes, I will be proud to teach you myself. You rarely spend time with father without someone else around. There's paternal love in his voice, so much that even the cut on the shoulder barely hurts now. You would be glad to be convinced by what he says, but how can you forget your dream? How can you abandon it just to earn father's approval? Is it right for him to ask so much of you? Oh. Yeah, I like the idea of like the fencing lesson, because it seems like he will teach you, but at the same time I don't want to lose all my willpower. So, because I might need it for future events, so I would rather stock up on willpower and improve my relations with him for the time being. You take a deep breath, then slowly, solemnly swear you'll never touch a sword again until you earn a nobleman's title. This promise is a difficult one for you to keep. No more secret fights with an imaginary blade. No more battles with sticks. If you give your word, you must keep it. Father smiles at you warmly. It's one thing to make a promise. It's another thing to keep it. But I know you can do it, my son. You are on your way to becoming a man of your word. Let's go back inside now. He picks up the sword and leads you back into the house. You wash the blood from the cut and agreed to keep this a secret from everybody. Then father asks you to come into his study with him. He tells you stories of his studies in the capital. He tells you about studying for the judgeship and the trials he had to face to be ennobled by the mantle. Father brings several toy soldiers from the house. He uses them to reenact the famous Battle of the Green River. The floor of the study becomes a battlefield, and the books from his table turn into riverside hills. You try your best to remember his every word. He's a good guy. He's a good guy. He's just as trapped by his lot as much as everyone else is. Okay, good. Get that willpower up. Get that willpower up. Sweet temptation. Grandfather's visits are no longer a cause for fear and panic in the house. He has become something you're used to, something nagging yet not unordinary, like a splinter or a stain on your trousers. The tension still remains, however. Sir Gregor's disdain for everyone in the house is so palpable that it almost stings for real. Your lessons with the tutor are done for today. You're walking down the stairs when you spot Gloria peeping into the sitting room through a slightly open door. You sneak up on your sister and tap her lightly on the shoulder. She is startled. Oh, it's you, Tooru. Look, Sir Gregor is eating something. Grandfather is sitting on the sofa, flipping through a book with one hand and reaching for a glass bowl with another now and then. Inside the bowl you see a candied fruit. A sweet confectionery forbidden to the common estate, like all sweet things. Yet grandfather's face shows no pleasure as he keeps consuming the highborn treats. The clock strikes 3. Grandfather rises from his seat, puts away the bowl on a shelf and leaves for the yard. He always takes a walk in the city at this time. Gloria nudges you with her elbow and looks at the candy bowl when you look at her. The first emotion you feel is fear, but next some curiosity, and it is stronger. Stephen used to boast that candied fruit tastes incredible, and now you have a perfect opportunity to try it. No! Oh my god. You try a candied fruit, the sugar starts to melt as soon as you put it on your tongue. It is so sweet, you've never eaten anything as good as this. You take... No! Tooru, stop! You're gonna die again. You take the whole bowl off the shelf and give it to your sister. She takes the fruit and brings it to her mouth carefully like a rare treasure. Oh no! He's gonna kill my sister! There is a thumping on the stairs, footsteps accompanied by the knocking of a walking stick. You have no idea why, but grandfather is back. You quickly hide behind the sofa and pull Gloria after you, but she's frozen in place with the bowl in her hands. The door opens. Grandfather's menacing figure advances on Gloria. His hand seizes her arm. You squalid, ungrateful, lowborn child. How dare you bite the hand that feeds you? You and your trollop of a mother would be sleeping in a ditch if it weren't for my spineless son. The sweet and pleasant things in life are for the noble estate, not for the likes of you. Did you forget your lot? Oh my god. His hand swings and hits Gloria on the cheek. She falls to the floor, right where you are hidden. Her fingers glisten with the warm melted sugar that brought you here. Grandfather strikes again, his walking stick ready. But then he sees you huddling behind the armchair. Please don't hurt him, Sir Bran. This is all my fault. He tried to stop me. You can already see the bruise on Gloria's cheek. This is only the beginning of her judgment. Gloria was caught red-handed. Unlike you, you can still avoid your punishment. What is it then, Milksop? Did you try the sugar too, or were you trying to stop this Were you trying to stop this piece of filth, like she says? Oh my god. Yeah, I would tell the truth. You tell the truth. You did eat the candied fruit because he would know anyway. He would know anyway, and this is like, he probably appreciates the honesty. He would still beat the shit out of you, right? But he appreciates the honesty. You tell the truth. You did eat the candied fruit with your sister. You stand up and tell the truth, even though it takes an effort to do it. You actually ate candied fruit, but Gloria only touched it. You hope this will help your sister avoid punishment. You're quickly proven wrong. Oh my god, Grandfather's face is red with rage. He strikes you both with his walking stick blow for blow. He keeps hitting you until he grows tired, then he leaves you where you are. Soon enough, Mother comes to find the two of you too afraid to move. She shakes her head in disappointment. You're badly hurt and covered in bruises, yet she still forces you to kneel and recite the precedent of the lots and how it is important to follow them. Then you stand before Father and Grandfather and swear never to take things that do not belong to you again. Yeah, but he appreciates that because you're honest, right? Rip willpower. I'll need to load up on willpower soon. Man, what a rough childhood. Mother and father have been focused on Nathan and you since early morning. Instead of breakfast, you're told to say your prayers, wash your hands and faces, and get dressed in plain white shirts. Today is the day of your sacrament. Okay, so I think, yeah, this is probably like the last event of childhood, right? Because after this, you become an adolescent. Mother, I want to go play in the yard. No playing today. You and Tooru are big boys now. It is time for you to have your sacrament. No one can live without a lot. I don't want a lot. Be quiet and listen. You're born commoners, so you must accept a low-born lot before the twins. When you grow up, you will earn a chance to earn a noble lot. Father and Mother take you to the carriage. Nathan is hungry. He starts whining. Grandfather is the last to get in the carriage. His eyes are on you and your brother, looking for every fault. Soon the carriage is moving along the streets of Anizot, slowly and solemnly. One more turn and you see the colossal white building marked by two massive pillars. For the first time in your lives, you are to enter the Church of the Twin Gods. Enter the gate and walk under the splendourous dome of the church. The church hall is divided into two halves. They are drastically different from one another. The floor on one side is rough and jagged and covered in dried brown spots, while the other on the floor, the other is made of smooth marble. So, I guess what this means, yeah, I was gonna say like this is like the sort of divide between commoners and nobles, right? The commoners kneel on the jagged floor, while the nobles, the well-dressed nobles and their families sit on pews. Oh, Jeez. Father and grandfather leave you to sit on one of the noble's pews. Mother walks to the rough stone of the commoner's side and gets down on her knees. You see her wince in pain, for the lowborn estate shall suffer in the house of their faith. The church acolytes surround you and lead you to the altar where you and your children will take your sacrament this day. Before you stands a tall priest dressed in black with a sword in one hand and a hefty whip in the other. Nathan's whining grows louder. He dislikes this place. He is scared. You remain quiet, but your stomach roils in uneasy anticipation. The first child to take a sacrament is a jaunty little boy from a family of nobles. The priest extends the sword before him and recites the words of his lot. From this day forth, he will fight and rule and pursue the arts, his mind now forever free from the throes of suffering, for he now belongs to the noble lot. The boy proudly touches the flat of the blade with his lips. Nathan... Oh my god. Oh, poor kid. Nathan is next to receive his sacrament. He suddenly snaps out of his fearful trance and tries to break free, but the acolyte pulls him towards the altar and throws him on the jagged floor on the lowborn side. The sharp edges bite into Nathan's knees as he lands, spraying drops of blood around him. I don't wanna. Tooru, why do they whip me? What did I do? You try to break free and run to Nathan's side. You want to give him courage and protect him, but the acolyte's grip on you is too firm. You feel helpless. Your little brother has to face the world all by himself. You know what? I feel like our parents should have done a better job in like preparing Nathan. You know, it seems like because he's the youngest, they sort of just like let him do whatever, and then they push like all of the responsibility onto Tooru because Stefan is like away. So I think they probably should have done a better job in preparing Nathan to ensure that he knows that would happen. You know? The priest starts reciting the words of the lot as he swings the lash over Nathan's shoulders. From this day forth, Nathan, thou shalt endure, work, and suffer. Thou shalt be ardent in obedience in thy labor. Thou shalt be ardent in thy labor and humble in obedience to thy rulers. And now cometh the first true suffering which thou must accept with gratitude. Ugh. The lash cracks. This is rough. That's rough. It strikes his right shoulder, then his left shoulder. The blows are so powerful, Nathan falls to the floor. The priest tells him to rise. He has received his lot. Nathan gets on his feet and drags himself towards Mother, his knees torn and bloodied, his spirit broken. It is your turn. Your feet will not move. You can barely muster enough strength to walk to the altar. You get down on your knees and feel the sharp stones below, so sharp that your clothing cannot protect you. Your skin begins to burn. The acolyte forces your head down and you feel the lash being drawn above you, ready to strike. The priest's words are for you now. This is thy sacrament. Thou shalt work and endure and suffer. Thou art about to receive thy first true suffering by the sacred lash. Do thou escape thy... Really, Gregor? Touch the lash, no thanks. Raise your head. Oh my god. Haha. Oh man. Okay. Let's roleplay this. So, are we defiant? Based on how Tooru is, he's very impetuous, so we should raise our head. And we get willpower, which is what I like. I personally, I also want to kiss the sword, and then, you know, we get like the nobleman's sacrament, but I think that's too metagamey, and you know we might have issues going forward. So, I want to raise my head. So we'll defy the ceremony. Priest readies his lash, but before he can strike, you raise your head and stand up. There are cries of indignation among the church guards. The whip cracks. It strikes you on the right shoulder, but you keep your head up. It strikes again, this time on the left shoulder, but you remain standing. No one intervenes. Even the priest is confused. He grits his teeth as he orders you to depart. You are to remain humble and obedient from this day forth, for you now belong to the common estate. You walk away from the altar swaying. You now see things with a surprising clarity. You can barely feel the pain, even as blood rushes down your back. A timid hand touches yours. It is Nathan. His tearful face a mixture of confusion and awe. Mother takes your hand and leads you outside the church. Once you're outside, Once you're outside, she scolds you for being insubordinate. Grandfather is the last to leave his church. His face is covered in red, angry blotches. There's quiet fury in his voice as he says something to father, who remains quiet and miserable as you walk to the carriage. You defied a powerful will that way. There is fear inside you. You fear that will might one day destroy you. Grandfather's fucking pissed. I feel a bit sorry for Robert, like father, because like he's miserable, right? He's miserable. The mark left in your sacrament takes a long, long time to heal. Mother said is a reminder of your lot suffering and sufferance, pain and patience. Gloria shows you the mark of the lash on her shoulder. One day it will never disappear. You're a commoner now. This is the lot you were born into. But father keeps telling you to study hard so that you may yet earn a different lot and become noble of the mantle. You recall the past with warm sadness, when Stefan still lived with you, or when he wrote to you for a time shortly after he left. Now he thinks it's beneath him to write to commoners in his family. Mother didn't lock herself in the bedroom as often as back then. This changed shortly before Nathan was born. But most importantly, you missed the time before the terrifying figure of your grandfather was constantly looming over you. Alki, how are you going? Wait, what happened to the VTuber model? Oh, nothing happened. It's just that this game is kind of depressing. So I just have like a picture on top. You earned the true power of the lot only after the head of the family's arrival. In grandfather's eyes, no commoner deserves to be treated with kindness. Is this just him? Or is it the way of the entire world? The very thought makes you queasy. You're older now, and what's more, you're an elder brother now. You've learned how to care about someone else, how to teach, and to protect. Soon, you're a small boy no longer. As the days pass, play gradually gives way to laborious study. Now your choices will decide your place in the bizarre and ruthless world of adulthood. Your childhood years are over. Yes, childhood years are over. End of chapter 1, childhood. So this is like a little summary, like the important events that have happened in this chapter, and like a little summary, right? So these are the events. So this is a very cruel world. It's basically you're divided into two lots. It's mostly determined by birth. You're either a commoner or you're a noble. And if you're a commoner, you're basically treated like dirt. And if you're a noble, then you have you get everything in life. It's so black and white. And unfortunately, because I have a commoner mother, I'm also like a commoner. But my father is a noble and my grandfather's a noble. My father is like a good guy. He's trying his best, but grandfather is a massive asshole. So that it actually led to grandfather beating me to death or kicking him. Because like father bought me like some toy soldiers as like a gift. And grandfather, when he came, he was all, what's this? Commoners don't deserve toys. And so he threw them into the fire. And as a small child of like 4 years old, I kicked him in the shin, right? I was like, fuck this old guy. And he beat me to death as a result. So in this game, you have several lives. So thankfully, it's not a game over. Here we go. So these are some of my personality traits here. Personal qualities that you've accumulated into childhood, they will convert into adult qualities at the end of chapter 2, adolescence. Here's my personality, my strength, and number of lesser deaths that you've experienced. So yeah, in this game, you can die up to 3 times. Like in this world, rather, you can die up to 3 times. And I made the point earlier that in a world that's so manifestly unjust, I feel like having 4 lives, 3 deaths, would actually like be worse than just living once. Because as a commoner, if you die once, then your suffering's over, right? But here in this game, you die multiple times, right? You die multiple times and you're just suffering for a very long time. Okay, so we'll go continue and then we'll actually save it here. Now we get into adolescence. Continue. All right.
I was growing up fast. The school, the streets, and the whole wide world awaited me beyond the gate of my parents' house.
Okay, I guess that was it. I guess that was it. I was hoping for more. Wait. Where's save? Can we save? Or is this automatic? Okay, hold on. There we go. Chapter 2, Adolescence. So I'm no longer a child. You've lived in this world for 8 years now. As you grow older, life grows more complex. The world of your childhood was limited to your house and family, but now the realm is expanding. It includes your neighborhood, the nearby houses, and the streets of the ancient city of Anizot. The question now looms over you, growing more pressing with each passing year. What will your place be in this vast outside world? Few people in the blessed Archnean Empire trouble themselves with this question. It is not within a man or woman's power to choose. Their destiny is predetermined by their birth and those who bore them. And yet, your peculiar birth has granted you a choice. Your father is a man of nobility, a worthy example in matters of duty and honor. Your mother is a commoner of lowly estate, humility and patience made flesh. And your sky is ablaze day and night with the light of the shining pillar, the beacon of the clergy. Your back bears the mark of the lash. Will you accept the drudgery and the suffering that is your lot of the lowborn for your entire life? Or will you follow in the footsteps of your father and your father's father and fight for the right to serve the empire as a noble of the mantle? Perhaps you will follow the twin gods' word and offer spiritual guidance to others. The answer lies out there in the vast, terrifying world. What awaits you beyond the walls of your home? Okay, so these are like some of the events. House of Brante Destiny. Okay, so I guess this is like an autosave thing. Yeah, I guess this is an autosave thing. So, we're gonna finish things here because we finished the first chapter, Childhood. Now, if you've been watching, it's a very, very dark game. This game is makes no qualms about some deeper themes. I mean, we got murdered by our grandfather, right? So like, the game doesn't mess around. This is a very, very dark and disturbing universe, and I'm looking forward to exploring more of it with you guys. So we're gonna go ahead and quit to main menu. Your game will be saved automatically. You will be able to continue from the last scene. Very nice. Okay, that's very cool. Okay, so let's close the game and let's head to... Oh my god, why is my megaphone up? Has my megaphone been going on the whole time? No. Okay, good. I don't know why that was there. But yeah, interesting game. I will continue playing it. I hope that, going forward, we can get a few more streams of that sort of thing. I really enjoy it. They won't be long streams though, because I noticed that my voice gets tired out pretty quickly when trying to read all of the text. The problem is that because it's a text-based game, you need to read it all out. Otherwise, it's, kind of ridiculous to expect, the viewers to be able to read everything, because a lot of people who usually watch streams while they have something else in the background, and I don't want to do that to you guys. I want to read and, be part of it as well. However, yeah, I won't be doing very long streams with that, because they do wear at my voice. And that's just partially because, look, I'm a turtle. I don't get out of my shell too often, so I don't need to talk very often, I have myself, I have my own thoughts, and, I don't need to talk very often, so I'm not used to talking for very long stretches. And that's why my voice gets worn out very easily. If you listen to the start of the stream, my voice sounds very different to what it sounds like right now, for example. But yeah, I'm looking forward to continuing streaming this, maybe on a similar time, so like Saturday mornings, my time, like 8 to 9 a.m., that kind of thing. Depends if I can wake up, I guess. But yeah, I'll be continuing this later on. My next scheduled stream, because this was an unscheduled stream, but I may start doing this as part of my schedule. My next scheduled stream is Monster Hunter Stories 2, and we'll be playing that Sunday evening, Australian Eastern Standard Time, around 8 p.m. So, check out my Twitter, check out my About page. My schedule is on there. My schedule is on my Twitter as well. And, just keep in touch and all of that good stuff. I appreciate everybody's presence here, everybody who came along and, just lurked and all of that sort of thing. I appreciate that. From Tooru to you, thank you. Take care of yourselves, and I hope to see all of you next time.
I played this, and 4 times